Hello folks, welcome back to Toy Reel. Once again, I'm Jason the Bruce, and today we're returning to 5-2 Toys because today I get to check out the Squiddy Boy. So, for those of you that knew this was coming, you know how excited I was for this. I have been wanting to get my hands on this from the moment I saw it, pretty much. Some of you will have already seen the unboxing for Gunpowder. If you haven't, you can find it up here. This was my introduction to the line, and I basically fallen in love. I already have another 4 on top of this that you haven't seen yet. There will be videos on those coming as well as other things. Not everything that I'll be showing off will be 5-2 Toys. So this has been sent out to us by Joy Toy World. They're one of the major contributors to Toy Reel, and they've been helping support Clinton for quite some time. So Clinton let them know that I was kind of keen to have a look at some of the 5-2 Toy stuff. They sent it out, and this is in contention for one of my favourites right now. Here we are. We have the packaging for Down Spiral. Once again, very, very similar to look. Again, gorgeous art style here. And we're going to see more of this lovely boy as we start looking. On the side, we get a bit of an idea of how the guy looks. That continues on the back with some more gorgeous artwork. We've got some lovely stuff here. This is all in native language because this has been sent directly from Joy Toy World. So there's no sticker on this from Amazon to tell you what all of this says. We have our lovely instruction booklet. So this actually doesn't come in either mode fully at this stage. I'll come back to that in a second. This is genuinely the first time I've looked at these instructions. Because when I was kind of playing around with it, honestly, I figured most of this out by myself, just kind of playing around. This thing kind of transforms as you think it does, pretty much. 4 items inside the little baggie. We'll come back to this in a second. I think this might be included in error. Because... oh, no, it's an advertisement for the Beast Drive line. Okay, nope, that's fine. So basically, it's telling you what's available in the Beast Drive era. This is probably the most tempting for me because it's a hammerhead shark, and what's not to be tempted by a hammerhead shark. But I don't know, I really like the Beastbox concept. I understand that these obviously will excite some people more than the cube idea because it's actually a thing. But it's not what draws me to the line personally. And I'll say this, I like the fact that this advertisement actually tells you what to be expecting with the Beast Drive line. Because when I was looking at the Beast Drive stuff, I couldn't quite understand what it was initially. So there's actually a building part to the Beast Drive line, which I actually really like. And another look at some of the other stuff that they've got. So we've got Legacy of Lovecraft. Definitely going to have a look at what this is entailing because, well, how could you not be tempted by Lovecraft stuff? Hexabot, which I'm not familiar with, but I know that this is one of their other major lines. Can't quite read what that says, I'm afraid. The angle of the text is a little bit too sharp. And here's our Legacy of Lovecraft stuff. So it looks like these are smaller action figures, just judging by the look of it. All right, and here we have our character card. BB-52. Lovely artwork, new piece of artwork here, kind of in its home habitat. Interestingly, the ocean appears to be digital, which is kind of amusing. Bit of a view. The only thing I will say there's something underneath the Beastbox. Like, there's a line going across here, and I can't quite figure out what it is. There's no sticker here. It appears... I almost thought that it might have been a crack or something. But I don't see any evidence of a crack. I can't... You can just kind of make it... Now, maybe it is a crack. It's that line there. I think I've got a crack in the card, maybe. And here we have the main piece. Now, I only have the toy itself. I unfortunately don't have the extra bonuses that you can buy. Same box charger as usual, so we'll put that aside for now. And we will look at the main event. So, this is how it'll come out of the box for you. Basically, the only thing you have to do at this point is you want to pull these out. And yes, this is supposed to rotate. And basically, you're just pressing them together. They do. There's no real click. They just kind of friction fit. And there you go. This spins very, very nicely. Lovely, lovely, vicious face there. The other thing you will want to do, this is only partially done at this stage. So you will want to unfurl those legs. Underneath, you will notice that these two front ones are actually separate. This folds down, flips around, and then you've got his beak underneath. From there, you want to turn these around. Just the two that had been flipped. And then you can kind of pose up a storm. The way I tend to like to do it, I like to angle these around. Do the same at the front here. And it's up to you, obviously, but if I do something like that, gives you an idea of just how big this thing is. And again, gives you an idea of just how big this thing is. This does fold up into here. All right, so unlike gunpowder, I am actually going to transform this thing for you. But first things first. That actually drops down. A couple of ports in here where you can add accessories if you had some. You've got the mouth here. Doesn't articulate. Apart from when you're... That's more for transformation, though. I really, really like that. That's it as far as features, really. Other than, well, that spins. Articulation-wise. Move those out of the way. So, first things first. There is a double ball joint. Sorry. There is a ball joint that connects into here and a hinge here. So, this will travel quite a decent way, and then that hinge will go... the only thing that stops it is the body essentially getting in the way at that point. There's also a knee joint here. Goes 90 degrees. Goes not quite 180. Probably about 140, 150, I would say. And then this folds in pretty much a full 180. These I do find are a little bit loose, so you're not going to be able to like half pose it like this because it's not going to hold any weight. But once they're extended out all the way, that is how you will get your poses and everything. You can get some really nice poses out of this. But let's start transformation. So we're going to start up the top here, and we're going to break this back down again. And the way I tend to do this is I will then break this apart next, And like I said, this literally transforms exactly how you think it will. We've got a peg on here, goes into the hole there. These will actually rotate a little. So we're going to plug both of those in. We'll do that on both sides. And that's pretty much it. That's all you're doing. This, you would think, gets annoying, but it doesn't, honestly. This will actually lock into place. We're going to leave that for the moment and come down. And pretty much we are going to bring these two legs back together. You can fold in the tips and up, twist, back down again. Then the outside of the leg will be facing in. Ah, damn. I have had these pop out a couple of times on me as I'm transforming it. It's not actually a fault of the toy. I would say it's me. The problem is the positioning of these faces up towards the body, and as you're twisting them, it's just a little awkward. But I would say it's me, not a problem with the toy itself. Now, legs wise, these will clip in together. And when you bring the third one up, it tends to get a little fiddly. So you want to bring these all up together. There's a little hole there that goes with the little tab there. And because this is a separate piece, you kind of have to get this angled properly. And it's a little fiddly. And there we are. In the instructions, it kind of says to flatten this out. If you angle the body right, you can almost get this to kind of stand up straight. Like that. Now, the only thing the instructions don't really show you is here. You want the ball joint to remain flat. You only want to turn on the actual hinge. If you don't do it that way, and you will probably find that the legs will come out from each other. If you don't do it that way, it will not line up properly. There is a little tab there that goes into this tab in the middle. Once you get that in place, then put your legs back together. You will find that these will come apart pretty much every time you do it. So, if you need to, maybe do this in a little bit of a reverse order. Plug that in. And then bring everything up to meet it. If you have to. I haven't really decided which way is easiest. But of all of the parts, this is the bit that I find frustrating. So, here we go. Body-wise, this will fold in on itself. You may find that the legs will come out a little bit. Just push them back in. Now, you will notice the body has two slots here. It doesn't matter which one you plug it into. But that will stop that from rotating. And then these will come around, plug into that tab, plugs into the body there. And then you have your cube mode. Now, you need to get it nice and squozen. Here's the one thing I have found. Ideally, I kind of wish that I could go this way. I find it doesn't quite fit that way. It just gets a little bit too tight. You have to go in sideways. And it fits in perfectly. But the fact that you have this giant squid that engineers to fit into this 2-inch cube is insane. Like, this thing ends up being like this long. It's insane how big this is. It's insane how impressive this is. Needless to say, this thing is insanely impressive. Like, I love this thing. Like, you can pose this up a storm. Like, you could have it crawling into the box. You can kind of have it kind of crawling out of the box. Whatever you want to do. The bonus that you can buy alongside it is like a stand that kind of holds it in place, almost like a mech, because it's like a mechanized giant squid. The only downside I would say is that, like I said, these tend to be a little bit loose on mine. And if you try to position the leg slightly wrong, then it kind of buckles in because of the weight of the toy. But that's honestly the only negative thing I could say. This is, of the 6 that I have, this is within the top 3. I think this is either number 1 or number 2. Gunpowder is the one that's going to be going back and forth with it at this stage. It is that good. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. Like, size against my hand-wise, this is quite significant. It transforms exactly the way that you think that it should. I know, like, there are people out there that like their transforming toys to be something of a puzzle. This does fit into that, even if it is fairly obvious the way that it happens. I mean, it just basically folds in on itself. But this is really good. I own 6 of these toys at this stage, one of which I haven't opened. And this has pretty much shot up. If not into first place, it's second place. And I wouldn't be able to tell you what is my favourite 100% at this stage. It's either this or it's Gunpowder. It's one or the other. It's going to take time for me to be able to make that decision, and I suspect that those decisions will be changing frequently in this line for me. The more I play with these, the more I fall in love and the more obsessed I am with this line. I only have one regret when it comes to this stuff, and that's that I wish I had have gotten into this earlier so I didn't miss out on so many of these limited edition releases. It's the only regret that I have. That end, there's a couple of bonuses that I would love to have. Specifically gunpowders. I really wish I had gunpowders. But otherwise, I love these things. They are lovely. I cannot recommend these enough.
This episode of Toy Reel is proudly brought to you by Cool Toys Club and Joy Toy World.